is that button. There we go. Hello everybody, I am El Bristow, you're watching Elitopia Gaming. Welcome back to KSP Live. As I have just mentioned to the people that are watching here on Twitch, we had a bit of a quiet live stream, and a bit of a short live stream last week. But we are back this week to hopefully carry on this career where we left off. Our current long-term goal, really it's a short-term goal, but it will take a while, so it's a medium-term goal, is to upgrade our vehicle assembly building so that we can remove our maximum part count of 30. We need 2.1 million funds because of our 1000% penalties setting that we're running on. 2.1 million. We currently have 1.45 million, 1.46, depending on how accurate you would like me to round that. Yeah, we're not that far off. We need, well, there you go, 700,000 funds before we can unlock the vehicle assembly building. Obviously, we want to go a little bit higher than that, so we've still got some money to actually build a craft. But that's our current aim. I don't believe... Oh, we do have some contracts still going. We need... transmit or recover some scientific data from space around Kerbin. That's an easy one. Temperature scans of Minmus. That one's been hanging on for quite some time. Let's go back and see how long we've got left on that one. Temperature scans of Minmus. 4 years. Well, that's quite a lot of time. And we only have 2 of those contracts to complete, and that will give us an injection of about 225,000 funds. So that's a decent injection and lots of science and reputation to go with it. So we might have a look at finishing that off today. We're also being... still in there, isn't it? We're also being offered all these contracts. Explore Jewel, Ike, Gilly, Bop. Science data from Ike, rescue from Kerbin, position a satellite in an equatorial orbit of Kerbin, position a satellite in a polar orbit of Kerbin, more temperature scans of Minmus. So there's lots being offered to us. A couple of easy ones that don't pay a huge amount of funds. But then here we've got these are big ones, obviously. Bop, Gilly, Ike, Jewel, they pay out very well. I do wonder if our Q series of unmanned craft that we've been using in the last few weeks would be sufficient to get to some of these places. I mean, it can get to Ike, no problem, because we've managed to get to Duna, no problem. Temperature scans of Eve. Again, I don't really like these contracts for the live stream because they aren't all that interesting, to be quite honest. So the visual survey ones have got very good payouts for their funds. I mean, look at that. Visual surveys of Gilly, it would pay us 651,000 funds for completion, but you've got all of this as well for the various different stages. They're very, very good missions for building up funds. But see, I'm tempted to do Ike. I wonder if we should do the Ike mission today. Ideally, we want to finish the Minmus mission. I believe have we recovered all of our Kerbins from orbit now? All our Kerbins, all our Kerbals. Have we recovered all our Kerbals now? I know the crafts are still there. Oh, we have still got one, haven't we? Because, oops, we've got the one that's landed on the moon. There, the Kerbin on the moon. So there's still a Kerbal there that needs rescuing. There's some very interesting orbits that it's offering me there. It would be nice for us to head to... There's the poor old Popsicle 2 there. Would be nice for us to head to Ike. There is Ike there. We've landed on Duna with the Q4B. Ike's doable. Ike is definitely doable. We just kind of do a bit of an aero brake round Duna, and then we're heading to Ike. But do we want to complete the Minmus missions before we head there so that they don't expire? It's just those 2 bits there, which, I mean, we don't want to take those ones. It's just those 2 there. But it has to be a crew report. So what we'd have to do is send an unmanned craft with a pod, land it, put our Kerbal in it, and then do the temperature scans, and then see if we can bring it home. That could actually be quite an interesting mission, I think. I think that will be our mission for now, and depending on how long that takes us, we will have a look at an Ike mission. How does that sound? So we won't accept any extra missions for the moment. Oh no, they are temperature scans. So we could just do it with an unmanned craft, but ideally we'd like to rescue our man at the same time. So we will do it with a manned craft. Not a manned craft, a craft that's capable of carrying a man. A Kerbal. So Q6 was the last to launch, which I believe is, there we go, that is our unmanned craft with a pod. And we did successfully manage to take that to... We did some rescue missions on the moon with that, didn't we? Now, ideally we need a little bit of extra fuel to guarantee us to be able to come back. Although we might be able to come back with the fuel that we've got there. We always do end up with quite a lot of fuel left over, so yeah, I think we'll risk it with what we have there. So this is another Q6 craft. We'll make this the Q6B because it will be not the first one that we've launched. We'll make sure that we're not taking a Kerbal with us. We don't want to take Bob Kerman with us. And we will take that out to the launch pad and we will head this to Minmus with the aim of recovering... Who is it that's on Minmus? Is it Ribsy, or did we already recover Ribsy? We need to recover a Kerbal and we need those temperature scans. And thinking about it, I don't think I've put a thermometer on it. Yes, we have. There we go. There is a thermometer on that one. So, nighttime launch, not the end of the world. SAS on and throttle up to 100%. Keep an eye on our fuel and things. Yeah, everything's okay. So here we go. Let's go to Minmus. Obviously, a journey to Minmus, not the trickiest of journeys we've done on this stream, but very important at this stage in our career to complete this Minmus mission and recover our Kerbal, because he will be a level 1 pilot by the time he returns. In fact, he might be a level 2 pilot because he has actually landed on Minmus, and that will give us a pilot to use for future missions. So, you've all seen this launch before, or launches like this before. Nothing new here, unfortunately. We are away. And we will do our usual. We will take this up to about 12,000 meters. Might go slightly higher. And then do our turn. Preferably in the right direction, because I've made that mistake a few times with this particular layout. And we will see how we do it getting to Minmus. Minmus shouldn't be too much of an issue with this craft. We've managed to take a very similar craft to Duna and to Eve, so this should be relatively straightforward. hopefully. Tangled up with my my earphones. Again, looking relatively quiet in the Twitch chat this week. If you're sitting there in the Twitch chat and you haven't yet said hello, please make sure that you do so. Interestingly, if you're watching and you've been unable to log in because Twitch have changed your password for you, then yes, a lot of people have been in the same boat. I hope that that you do manage to regain access to your accounts and jump back into the chat to say hi very soon. And we are at 9,000 meters. Starting to lose our intake air, coming up on 10,000. As I say, we're going to go to about 12. I think these engines cut out at about 14, 15. So here comes 12,000. We'll go a little bit beyond 12. Okay, and then we will start our turn. Gentle turn. I'm here cussing up my computer for using almost all my 8 gigs of RAM. Oh, there go our engines. Spitting out warnings, crashing applications all over the board. Well, that is never fun. Activating those engines. 8 gigs of RAM. What are you doing? Are you playing KSP or? How are these doing? Yeah, still giving us some thrust at this stage, not a lot, and they will flame out very soon. Generally go bang when I pop them off. There they go. And now we check our apoapsis and see how we're doing. 40,000, not bad. These outer tanks feeding the inner tank for the moment. Let's keep our angle quite high for now. Get our apoapsis up as high as possible. We've given up on playing KSP. It takes too much RAM. 3.2 gig just at the 32-bit limit. It does. I mean, KSP certainly with mods does take a lot of RAM. If you use the right mods to compress your textures and things like that, it does get a lot better. At the moment, I'm playing a pretty much vanilla game, so it doesn't affect me all that much. Excuse me. Right, apoapsis is 87,000, so we cut the engines. We're going to drift up to 87,000 or 80 odd thousand before we circularise our orbit, so we don't waste any fuel in the atmosphere. Yeah, if you use the right texture compression mods and things like that. In fact, these are probably empty, aren't they? Yeah, let's ditch those. Then obviously it reduces the memory load quite considerably, which is what I was doing when I was doing my colonising Kerbal series, because a lot of the mods I was using took up huge amounts of RAM. But with texture compression, they were reduced quite considerably. I think I was playing with about 50 odd mods, and that was using probably about 3 to 3.5 gigs. I'm looking forward to the improvements to the 64-bit version of KSP. It's very unstable still at this stage, but once they are able to devote some time to it, it will be pretty awesome, I should think. 93 by 79, we are in orbit, so let's get Minmus set as our target. We're going to need to burn, actually, roughly at our descending node. Whoops. Yeah, we're going to be taking some moon interference by the looks of things. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. Yes, it will be faster with 64-bit as well, hopefully. Oh, there is quite a fluke. Intersect with Minmus. If I... Wrong way. Oh no, that was the right way. Okay. Come on, you stupid thing. There we go, right. This was the descending node, wasn't it? Yeah. So, well, let's correct that first then. There we go. And then burn outwards. Whoops. Yeah, see, this is going to be our issue. We're going to be hitting the moon. Okay, so we will correct our angle first. Why is it not? Right, we'll correct our angle first, and then here we will do a second burn, which will be our transfer burn. Preferably not hitting the moon. Woo! That's a fairly decent periapsis too. So, a double burn manoeuvre. I don't think I've actually planned 2 manoeuvres at once before. This will be, according to this, a 9-second burn. I don't know how accurate that is, but I don't see that it would be too inaccurate. There we go. So we're going to be burning at T-4.5. So T-5 there. Yeah, it wasn't too inaccurate. And we'll cut that there. Yeah, otherwise we're going too far. So then that, yeah, we need to tweak that slightly. Really? Really? Okay, so we have an intersect there. Not much different to what we had. Okay, so slight tweak to the mission, but there we go. And then this will be a 37-second burn. Plenty of fuel for that. What's that? 15, 16, 17. Whoa, that's about here actually. There we go. Whoops. We are burning. We are heading with lots of trajectory lines going all over the place. We are hopefully heading to Minmus. Excuse me. Okay, here we go, here we go. Whoop, there was the moon. Let's slow our burn. Get rid of that. How did we do? Periapsis of 600 and... Oh, are we still burning? Why is our periapsis changing? I don't understand. We in the atmosphere or something? I don't understand. Why is my periapsis changing? That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. I don't understand. Right, I'm going to speed up time. There we go. We missed the moon. And yeah, our periapsis and our apoapsis are both changing as we're going along. I don't understand. I don't get it. That's kind of against the laws of physics. Let's try... see if that changes anything. Okay, now it's just kind of wobbling to and fro. Yeah, see the torque on those. We don't want the torque on that one. We want the torque on this one because it's stronger. There we go. I don't understand why we would be... Let's turn the SAS off. So we're totally dead in the water. No thrust or anything. And it's still kind of wobbling around a bit. Very strange. It's just an inaccurate estimation, I guess. However, at least we will be going to Minmus. So, we go outside the orbit of Minmus, wait for Minmus to catch us up a little bit. Yeah, I mean that possibly is a floating point error, but the way that was changing just now was really strange. That's gone from like 600 kilometers to 750 kilometers. Although, what is it? The guys at Squad said it's not a floating point error. It's it's an inaccuracy in the way they calculate the changeover. Oops, from bashing the microphone. The changeover from one sphere of influence to another, or at least that's to do with when you change over in high time acceleration. They've said that it's actually it's their error. It's not a floating point error. It's their error in the way they calculate it, because in the time it takes for it to calculate where you are there and where you should be there when you're using time acceleration, if you cross over the change in sphere of influence at that point, it only calculates at this point. It doesn't calculate at the point you changed, which is where the errors were coming from. However, they're changing that in 1.0 to fix the way it's calculated. Okay, coming up on the periapsis around Minmus, so we will set ourselves retrograde, and we will start. Oh, SAS is off. There we go. SAS back on. Thank you very much. And we are approaching the periapsis. Let's do this nice and efficiently. Let's burn. And doink. Woo, okay. Now, we're at a bit of a funny angle. But we actually need to be at a bit of a funny angle for the mission that we've got planned. Whoa. Wow, this is very responsive. Let's put our RCS on and burn ourselves backwards slightly so that we're not flying through the planet. There we go. 8,500 should be enough for that. Yeah, we're probably going to have to correct our inclinations still. Oh, we're going the wrong way around the planet. That's not good. It's not a planet. We're going the wrong way around this chunk of rock. Mint ice cream. That's going to make calculating our landing spot somewhat more tricky. $7,000 by 8.5. That's good. Now, what we need to do is change our angle just slightly. And I always get the direction wrong when I do this. Is it this way? No. Always get it wrong. We need to change our angle downwards. That's it. There we go. So that we know that we are going to pass that point, so that we can judge our landing and land near there. In order to accelerate time to that point, we're going to go back to the Space Center so that we can accelerate time quickly. From here, Minmus. There we go. Right, so let's speed up time. No, I don't want to be looking at that. Let's look at Minmus itself. There we go. And we wait for our target destination to come round and meet us. Year 9, day 102. Got time for one more rotation? No, I don't think we need to actually. Let's go over to here and we will just burn ourselves down where we are, because I don't think that's just triggered our parachutes, hasn't it? I wonder why it does that. Oh, don't need our RCS at this point. Get ourselves pointing retrograde. slow ourselves down. We're going to need to come down ahead of where we actually need to be. And watch me get this wrong again. No, I got it right this time. There we go. And hopefully we will be in a position, whoa, past retrograde again, where we will be landing roughly in the right place. Typically, it's a dark landing again, and because of the whole 30-part limit, I can't put lights on these things yet. Speed up time a little. Okay, misjudged that slightly. That's not quite pro-grade actually. It's not quite what I want, is it? I want to be... There we go. Burning upwards a little bit. Make our descent a little more shallow. Now we do... Yeah, we don't have... Oh, hold on. We're facing the wrong way. Okay. I wondered why it didn't look right. There we go. There is our Minmus crash site. We don't have the IVA view at the moment. If we're clever, we can kind of use that crash site as a gauge of how high we are. I seem to recall that the ground was not much higher than 0, but I can't see a thing at the moment. So let's get ourselves slowing down. Okay, we're now going straight down, which isn't actually what I wanted to do. Let's go this way a bit. And then as we come down, hopefully we'll be in roughly the right place. Yeah, we are coming down too early. I suppose what we could do is navigate to one of these. Where is the nav marker for that? Over there. Really? Over there? I mean, it's a temperature scan we're doing, so we don't need the Kerbal for the actual temperature scan. It's very difficult to see. I think we might land and wait for day. Oh, Soviet man. Haven't seen you streaming for a while, I think. I have been streaming every week, so if you haven't seen me, that's because you haven't been here. But there you go. I do believe that some of the Twitch notifications haven't been going out as they have supposed to have been, which may or may not be the correct grammar for that sentence. I wonder if I could use... No, RCS isn't quite strong enough. It's alright for minor corrections, but not to actually slow our velocity for our landing. You can now see the rocks coming in into view. Don't know what our altitude is. Ah, there we go. I think we're down. Let's try and stay vertical, shall we? How hard are you taking this hard mode? Well, this is standard hard mode. Oh, that's draining our battery charge very quickly, so we will have to roll over, I believe. Let's just do this gently. We'll go on our side and then we'll pick ourselves up in the daylight. Maybe we'll roll down the hill towards our target. Here we go, speed up time. Wait for daylight. Yes, this is normal hard mode. But with 1000% penalties. So that's why our buildings are so expensive on this particular. Yeah, ambient light adjustment might be a good idea for the, oh, here we go. Here's the sun. A bit, I think. Is it? No? Why have we got just that one patch lit up? Look at that. That is the sun starting to rise, just starting to, but not to the point where we can actually see it. And we're going to roll down the hill. That's actually a very precarious situation that we've landed in, isn't it? Considering we've got no battery power left. Yes, I've not tried the adjustments for the ambient light adjustment. I'm using Planet Shine, which gives us the shine for reflecting off the planet or the moon or whatever it is that we're around. But we aren't using any other kind of adjustments for ambient light at this point. If this thing would stop, I can speed time back up. Tell you what, let's just turn the S... Can we turn... Oh, we can't turn the SAS on because we've got no power. That rock's not actually solid, so we'll just roll right through it. That is a chocolate chip. Watch this. Here we go. Ready? We are now a rock. Be at one with Minmus. You are a rock. You and the rock are one. And now me and the rock are two again. Come on. is rolling towards the sunlight, but it's taking him a long time. What if I do physics warp? Is that going to kill me? Yeah, probably. Very uncomfortable using physics warp. But I would kind of like to be in the sunlight at some point during this live stream. Tell you what. I wonder if I can do, because we're only 1.6 kilometers away from that. Can I do switch 2? Popsicle 4. Switch 2. Cannot switch to vessels while moving. Okay. Stop moving then. It's got no battery power, so it's just gonna keep rolling for the moment. It's doing a very interesting roll. I can't actually see the floor. I'm not really sure why it would roll quite like that. That would be the fuel sloshing around inside it and the lack of gravity. Are we even on the ground? I think we are on the ground. All the time getting further and further away from our target, I think. Oh, I don't know, actually. I think that is actually... Whoa, on our top. Maybe this will stop us if we keep rolling like this. I think we might actually be rolling towards our actual destination. It's quite a way away though, it's kind of down that hill quite a bit. Yeah, I really don't want to physics warp while we are going head to toe down a hill with our engine and our parachute. We have a shadow, which technically means we can see the sun, but we can't see the sun. If we could see the sun, our solar panels would be recharging our batteries and our SAS would work. So this is all very frustrating. Can't do anything until we have some power. Come on then, physics warp it slightly. Boing. Ba-boing. 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 Oh, come on, sun. What is the sun? It won't let me do anything while we're moving. That's the problem. Oh, look at that! Yeah, it's because we're on this side of this peak. If we landed there, we'd be in the sunlight by now. Oh, that was a big bounce by the looks of things. We're not so much rolling down the hill anymore as we are bouncing down the hill. I'm going to turn the physics warp off because this is where things start to break. Unfortunately, we're rolling kind of down the wrong side of the hill. I just Look, we're just coming into some light. And oh, and there's the sun. I can see it. But it's just behind that peak. Stupid sun. Come on, come on. Yeah, we are actually rolling towards our destination as well. So at this rate, we'll actually get to pick up this part of the contract just while we're kind of rolling down the hill. So as you see, as that points downwards, our target's kind of over there. Is it slowing down? Please say it's slowing down. It's a bit frustrating when you get stuck in these kind of situations, particularly when you are live streaming. Look, we've got a very definite shadow now. There is the sun just over that peak over there. Peekaboo. So, hopefully in a moment we will be in sun level, or we will be stationary so that we can speed up time. Nice view of some of the parts of our craft while we're doing this. There's the Poodle engine that we're using. Hello, Poodle engine. Nicely showcased for us by the rolling of the machine. Can't really see much else actually. Get a nice close-up of the solar panels. The shadow is just a bug, is it? But we are so close. Sun's there. We left something 50 kilometers, 50 and a half kilometers that way. I don't know what that was. Come on, you've almost stopped. You're almost stationary. You're just going to keep going and going and going, aren't you? Okay, physics warping it is. We have power. We have power. Right, SAS on. Stop us. Plop us down. Stop us from rolling. No, stop us from rolling so that I can speed up time. There we go. There is the sun. Okay, so where are we compared to where we need to be? We need to be over there. So let's get ourselves pointing upwards. Now that we have the power to do so, get our RCS on and see if our RCS is sufficient to actually lift us off. No, it's not. So we are going to have to use our engine. Not really sure exactly where our target is, obviously. We need to be very careful with our fuel. And our speed, obviously. So that we come down in the right place. No, this is not the right place. Come on. Let's be going the right way. We're so close. I'm assuming we aren't already there and I've missed the message. No. Turn the RCS off. It's not really much use. It's not strong enough, unfortunately. Might be once our fuel tank's empty. Don't really want to find out. Right, we are almost directly over it according to our nav ball now. Aha, there we go. Right, let's get ourselves down. We are in the right area at least. Can I hold us upright? Or as upright as being on a slope can be. Okay, so let's take this temperature scan. Log the temperature. That completes that. That's good. That's 30 from Minmus slopes. 36 science, 18 if we transmit. We are going to transmit this one because we've got another one to take. There we go. So that's some science, and we've completed that. So that's 24,750 funds, 62 science, 25 reputation. Now we need to head to the crash site. Ooh, not that way. And pick up our Kerbal. Oops, which is in that direction. Whoa. That direction. Kind of took that a bit too high, I think. Yeah, very much so. Let's reverse some of that burn, shall we? hopefully we can come down directly on the crash site, or at least very close to it. $200 not bad. Under 200 meters, in fact. Ooh, don't fall over. There we go. So, what's that going past? Popsicle for debris. Why is that sudden? Why is that? What? Okay. Don't know what that was all about. Right, can we switch to that? Frodock. That's the Kerbal that we have there. Here we go. Hello, Frodock. Welcome back. You've only been here like... what? This is a 14-day mission. You've been here 7 years. 7 years he has been here. And we have finally come to take him home. EVA. Let go. You can leave the flag behind. Leave the pod behind. That's a nice little monument to Frodock's visit to Minmus. Turn your RCS jets on and here we go. Let's take you over to the Q6B. Look at that, the door's even facing you already, so you can just get straight in. If you don't miss it. Nice little platform for you to stand on. Donk. Grab. Board. And there we go. Frodock is back on a vessel that actually has some form of propulsion. We do, however, need to try and pick up that one, which from here should be kind of in that direction, I think. No? Am I wrong? Oh, it's over there. Okay. Got that one wrong. It's not very far away. What's the site called? SPU GC. Spug. Using a lot more fuel doing this than I really wanted to, but... oh, we're approaching it very quickly. There it is. We're going to come back down. Could we use our RCS? No, our RCS is okay for slowing our descent. But oh, actually, we can use point retrograde with this one. It's okay for slowing our descent, but it's not actually strong enough to slow us down or speed us up. It slows our rate of acceleration. Okay, We are down. Stand up. Stand up. There we go. We are down. Let's take a temperature scan. Log the temperature. Nothing for... Mind you, we can keep the data there, can't we? Take that bit of science home. We might as well get a crew report while we're here. And keep that. Send you on EVA. Where are you going? Where are you going? EVA. No, okay. You drop down there then. Phase plant. And take an EVA report down there. No, okay, you already got that one. Fair enough. Woo, stay still. There we go. Jets on. Up we go. That way round. And board again. Okay, so another 24,750 funds, 62 science, 25 reputation for picking up that temperature scan, and 180,697 funds, 124 science, and 252 reputation for completing that whole contract. So that is finally that Minmus contract complete. The temperature scan contract. We still forgot to transmit or recover scientific data from space around Kerbin. We can hopefully, if we manage to get back, do that on the way back. I don't know how much fuel we've got, so let's see how we get on if we just try and launch straight east. Whoa, not that way, that way. Any hills this way? No. What's going on? We need our SAS on. Thank you very much. Let's get ourselves up in the air. If we can at least get ourselves into orbit around Minmus, then we can at least send a rescue craft later. There is 7,000 meters. That's good. Have we actually got enough to get home? I don't know. Let's get ourselves up to 7,000 meters. Can't go faster than 1 times below 3,000 meters. Okay. We're outside 3,000 meters. Let's get ourselves up to the Apo. Apo. Okay. And prograde. And burn. Oh, okay. We can get closer to the Apo. And burn. And get closer to the Apo. And burn. You keep us prograde because we're getting off prograde now. And burn. Aha, there we go. We are in orbit. And we still got a fair bit of fuel. So, whoops, wrong button. Needed to zoom out. Where are we compared to Kerbin? Right, we would need to... We need to correct our inclination a bit, I think, if we are... Oh no, I suppose we don't really need to. Let's bring ourselves around the planet. And we'll do as efficient a burn as we can, which I believe is about here. Come on, I want to... There we go, maneuver. Whoops. Right, so that would be our burn to leave Minmus. It's really hard. periapsis of 32. So if we did it sooner, it goes a long way out. If we did it later, it goes a long way out. So yes, that is definitely the most efficient place to burn. Burning more gets us closer. I set the wrong thing as a target. Can't set Kerbin as a target, that's a pain. Unset target. Oh well. Yeah, that's basically, I always plant a flag near the launch pad to target. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Move that around just slightly. Does that make us closer marginally? Well, I don't think we're going to get any more efficient burn-wise. So let's get ourselves to a roundabout place. I suppose accuracy at this point is not of major importance. I mean, this is a 2-second burn according to this to get us away from Kerbin. So as I say, accuracy really not a big issue at this point. We could probably do it with RCS even. So let's see. Let's burn. Do it gently. Don't need that anymore because we know we're roughly in the right place. Well, there we go. 10, 9. Nine and a half. That'll do for now. Save some of the fuel and then we'll speed things up a bit. Come on. There we go. Remember, we need science data from around Kerbin to complete that small mission. Slow things down as we approach the changeover. There we go. And our periapsis is at 9.5, so that's good. Let's speed up time, take us round to the Apo, which is currently miles away. That'll take us prograde. So let's spin round to retro. And whoops, come on, there we go. There's retro, and see if we can burn this back into Kerbin's atmosphere with the fuel that we've got left. If not, preferably without colliding with the moon somewhere along the line. That's gonna be a pain, isn't it? Oh. Ooh. Are we gonna get a moon assist? I'm not liking this. The moon is stopping us. He's actually stopping us from deorbiting. That's a pain. Ah, there we go. We've got past it. $29. Okay. Now, in real life, if you're ever in this situation, because I know that a lot of you will be at points in the future, 29,000 meters is not a safe re-entry altitude. Because your craft will burn and you will die. But fortunately, this is Kerbal Space Program and we are running without deadly re-entry. So in this instance, we will not burn and we will not die. Nice eclipse as we approach Kerbin. Okay, we might, however, bounce off the atmosphere. Because we're going far too fast to actually land. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe not. Look at that coming in. Okay. Looks like we're going in for a one-pass landing. I bet we are very, very bright with fire at the moment. Yes, we are indeed very, very bright with fire. Much fire to be had. And we didn't get any science. That was stupid. We didn't get any science from space around Kerbin, and we're now in the atmosphere. So we'll have to wait to pick that contract up again. Don't let me forget again. Where are we going to land? Are we going to land in the bullseye? Got a fair bit of fuel. Looks like we're going to be landing near the bullseye. Not on the bullseye, unfortunately. Oh, parachute's popped. Fair enough. We can turn our SAS off now. Speed up time. Going very, very fast. Slowing down though. 10,000 meters. Ready for a parachute pop at 500. Pop. And that tiny little bit of fuel left to slow us down just that little bit on our landing. Whoops. Oh, 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 oh. Yes. I didn't slow us down quite enough. But fortunately, the pod itself somehow managed to survive that impact, saving Frodock, Kerbin, and our precious science. Whew. Recover that vessel, recover Frodock, and my goodness, that was a close call. So here we go. We now have 2,539 science. We have 1,665,289 funds of the 2.1 million that we're aiming for. And we have a total reputation of 946. Frodock Kerbin, no XP gain. No XP gain, considering we just picked him up from Minmus. And I believe that was his first ever flight. So I'm guessing, I'm hoping, it gave him... No, that's the wrong building. Let's go to the right building. I'm guessing it gave him... Yeah, it gave him the credit for that already. Even though it's supposed to only give you the credit for that when you actually return home. But never mind. Planting a flag on Minmus got him 6 reputation. Orbiting around Kerbin got him 2. So he now has radial normal, attitude hold, and all that kind of thing available as skills as our only 2-star pilot. So there we go. So we are, let's see, 500,000 funds shy of being able to upgrade our vehicle assembly building so that we can build craft with more than 30 parts. We have no major contracts on the go now, so we are going to have a look at picking up a new major contract. Now, we know we can land on Eve. That would give us 178,000 funds, 179,000 funds. Satellite around Duna, meh, interesting, but no. Oh, 140 funds and 4 science points for testing a liquid fuel engine landed at Kerbin. Fantastic, eh? Moving on. Temperature scans of Moon, no, too long. Visual surveys of Moon, no. Position satellite in specific orbit of Kerbin, 142,000 funds. Still not very much. Science data from space around Ike. Now, we know we can get... Hey, Teller86, welcome. We know we can get to Ike. 196,000 funds, 29,000 funds, so that's 130,000 funds. And 689 reputation for going to Ike. But we're also being given the Explore Ike contract, which is a further like 500,000 funds. So between the two of those, we would get enough to unlock our contract thingy. Vehicle assembly building. That's the word I was looking for. Vehicle assembly building. So I'm thinking that we will be taking Explore Ike and what was it? Science data from space around Ike, both of which we will pick up in one contract. Visual surveys of Ike. Below on the surface. Yeah, I don't plan to land. Oh, mind you, we will have to land on Ike. I wonder if we could do all of that in one mission. Now that's a challenge. That is a massive funds injection if we could do that. In flight below, in flight below, in flight below. So they're very low, but then Ike is quite small. And it will be relatively easy to manoeuvre. Tricky. What do we think, guys, in the Twitch chat? Should we take that contract as well? I'm going to take Explore Ike. And I'm going to take... Where's it gone? Science data from space around Ike. But do we take the visual surveys of Ike? Oh no, they're crew report ones. So that would have to be manned. Mind you, we could do it manned. When does it expire? We've got 3 days to accept it, and we're allowed 24 years to do it. That's a lot of funds, a lot of science, and a lot of reputation from that one mission. But it means taking a Kerbal with us. We can take a Kerbal with us. We have a craft, a manned craft that we can use. We could take the thermometer off, add a little bit of extra fuel maybe, or add an extra RCS port. That might be a good idea. Do you need to return him? No, it's not a requirement. I'd like to, but we haven't yet got a craft that we can use to return him. What we could do is do this mission, take Frodock with us, get him to take the EVA reports and everything and the crew reports, leave him on Ike, unlock the vehicle assembly building so that we can build the larger craft, and then send a rescue craft after him. We won't be able to do all of that today, but that's certainly an option. I think I'm going to take it. If we're going to Ike anyway, we've already been to Duna though. We've been to Duna. We've done the contracts on Duna. So Ike is separate. Do you need to land a craft on Ike? Yes, we need to land it on Ike. This EVA report here says to take a surface sample, and we've just accepted Explore Ike, which includes transmit scientific data from the surface. Ike is small, easy to move around on. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take that. While we've got the opportunity, I'm going to take it. Horrible to land on, yes, but if we're careful... True, we don't need to land a craft. We do only need to land a Kerbal for the EVA report. So we could get it into a very low orbit and then just jump the Kerbal out with his RCS pack. Take the surface sample, but then we've got to transmit it back for the other contract. We'll sort that out when we get there. We'll do that when we get there. Now, Q6B is what we took just now, and that is a manned craft, which is the Q6, based on the Q6 construction. We don't need to take a thermometer with us, which gives us an extra part available. In fact, we don't need the probe core either, because this is going to be a manned mission. So if I reroute rather to there, take that off for the moment, take that off for the moment, take that off, put that on, and well, that can just go anywhere really, can't it? Let's put it there for now. That gives us 2 parts, one of which, in fact both of which, should probably be RCS ports for Ike, shouldn't they? So that we've got enough. Mind you, we haven't got any RCS fuel. Oh yeah, we have. We've got that. Of course we have. Let's fill that up. Don't know why that wasn't full. Well. You only really need 2 RCS. Really? Is the gravity that low on Ike? Fair enough. I will take your word for it. I mean, we struggled on Minmus just now. Can rotate to get into whatever direction you need. Yeah. I'm thinking about, you know, speed corrections and things, but the gravity is very low on Ike. So we do only need those 2. Which means we could take some more science stuff with us for some juicy science points. This winds me up. There we go. I don't like them not joining properly like that. On Ike, 0.112 Gs, Minmus 0.05 Gs. So Ike's got stronger gravity than Minmus. What's it made of? It doesn't sound right. I'll tell you what, let's this is going to be the Q7 obviously. Let's save this as the Q7. Let's actually have a look at what the thingamajiggy place says. Right. Minmus. Information. No, not the Lunatic 3. Minmus. There we go. Gravity. ASL gravity 0.05. And yunk. Yunk. ASL gravity 0.112 Gs. Yep, this thing must be made of solid iron or something. No atmosphere present. All those things are in quite annoying locations, but hopefully we will be able to pick those up with our RCS. That's the one where we have to land, and these are the other ones where we will need to be in orbit below a certain altitude. Equator radius 130 kilometers. Really? 130 kilometers, Ike. Where's Kerbin gone? No, Kerbin's over there. There we go. Minmus. No, not the Lunatic. Minmus. Equator radius 60 kilometers. So Ike is bigger than Minmus. I didn't realise that. Ike is bigger than Minmus. Okay. Right. Oh well. We'll give it a go nonetheless. It is certainly doable. Might not be easy, but it is certainly doable. We do these things not because it is easy, but because it is doable. So, do we take Ribsy, Samgi, or Frodock with us? Frodock is our 2-star pilot. There is a chance that we will lose our pilot on this particular mission. I am hesitant to take Frodock, our 2-star pilot. I'm thinking maybe we will take Ribsy or Samgi. Let's take Ribsy with us. And he is going in. Let's put him in the right craft. The Q7. No, not Bill. Ribsy. So we will at least have the prograde and retrograde lock options. To be honest, I don't use the other ones anyway. So, 28 parts. Is there anything else we want to do with those 2 parts? What else can we take with us for 2 parts? Do we want to take more fuel? Do we want to take... See, more fuel means our launch is going to be harder. Two parts. Not a lot you can do with 2 parts. Right, I'm going to put the RCS ports on because the gravity is stronger than Minmus, and that hopefully will be enough for us to counteract the gravity of Minmus, the gravity of Ike, so that we can use our RCS for certain things rather than our liquid fuel. That's the theory. Let's save this. This is the Q7. Let's make sure Ribsy's still with us. No, Bill's taking his place again. There's Ribsy. Save that. Out to the launch pad. We're going to Ike. I'm thinking I might have to post this on Facebook and Twitter, just so that people come and join us. And that's some rather strange photos on Facebook. Here we go. I'm flying to Ike live right now. Come and join me if you don't want to miss it. Oh, hang on. Let's spell it right. Post it. It's possibly going to be treated as spam. Twitter. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment. Hashtag KSP, hashtag Kerbal space. Ooh, Kerbal space program. Tweet. There we go. That is tweeting. It is tweeted. Okay, so here we are on the launch pad. Let's have a daytime launch. I'm fed up with nighttime launches. Come on. Oh, okay. That was sundown. Hey, it's T Harvey. Welcome. Welcome back. Oh, there we go. It's daytime. You are just in time for our launch. We are heading to Ike with a manned mission to see if this thing is actually any good at a manned mission to Ike. We have 3 contracts to complete in Ike. Science data from space around Ike. We've got the full Explore Ike contract, and we have visual surveys of Ike to do as well, one of which will involve landing and taking an EVA report at a specific point on Ike. We also have to transmit or recover scientific data from space around Kerbin, but that's neither here nor there. So, SAS is on, throttle is up. Ribsy Kerman looking quite happy to be part of this mission. I think we are ready, guys. Hopefully we will have some people joining us from Facebook or Twitter from the posts that I just put out. If you guys have just joined us, welcome. Nice to have you with us. And here we go. We are going to Ike. Slightly slow and boring launch mechanism, which is ridiculously efficient. Come on. Here we go. We are going. Here we go. We are on our way. Come on, Rimsey? Ooh. Crossover there with Red Dwarf. Ribsy. Come on, Ribsy. We are heading to Ike. I just realised I didn't look at where Duna was compared to Kerbin. That was a bit foolish. It's in the complete wrong place. So Ribsy Kerbin is going to be in orbit around Kerbin for quite some time. Oh well. Yeah, Ribsy suddenly not looking quite as happy. I think he's noticed that we launched at the wrong time. Never mind. You're going to be a space station for some time, Ribsy. Good job I didn't put the attack life support mod on, otherwise we'd have no chance. Oh dear, I'm getting tired. 10 to 11 at night here at the moment. My beer must be kicking in. I need to rename a Kerbal to Rimmer now. Well, we've got Ribsy. That's close to Rimsy. I do need to I was going to rename one of our Kerbals T Harvey, actually. Or Harvey. But I changed it in the save game and it didn't update in the actual game, which was a bit of a pain. So what I'm going to do at some point is hire a new Kerbal, and we'll call him T Harvey in recognition of the stream tip donation that Harvey gave us the other week. Incidentally, Moobot's been relatively quiet tonight, hasn't he? Oh, he is there. There we go. There is a link in Twitch there, and there will be one in YouTube for stream tip for you guys to contribute if you feel that you are able to show your support for Elitopia Gaming. And I don't know why those commands aren't running automatically. You need to several places. However, there are a few mods that helps with that. Need to what several places? Oh, need to change the name of the Kerbal in several places. Ah, I see. I see. I tried to rename one from the roster. We need to start our turn, don't we? Here we go. Before we hired it. That didn't really work. Because when I went to the astronaut complex, there was no one there with that name. It just didn't rename them. We're going a bit... Our prograde marker is going a bit low, so we're going to turn off prograde tracking and point ourselves back up at 90 degrees to fix that. So that this is not a hideously inefficient launch. They are about ready to go. Still giving us some thrust at the moment though, so we're about to run out of fuel actually. There they go. And they pop off nicely this time because they were out of fuel. Apoapsis is climbing. Prograde marker is coming back up from the equator very, very slightly. Oh, look, there's the moon. Very important mission to Ike. There go those. So it probably is about time. Yep, it is about time that we start tracking prograde and reducing our thrust. When we get to about 87 like we did before, there we go, we will cut our engines, let ourselves drift. We will continue to track the prograde marker, and when we get into space we will remember to transmit some science back for that contract. Transmit or recover science from space around Kerbin. We will be in space very soon. Let's speed things up very slightly. There is space. Let's take a crew report from here. Transmit that for no science, but there we go. That completes that contract. 24,000 funds for that, which is not too bad. 1 science and 147 reputation, which that reputation doesn't seem to be adding up anymore. I'm quite disappointed. Now that we're at like 940 or whatever it is. Right, you get to there. Booster on. Let's circularise our orbit out. Yeah, I don't know. I assume that 1000 reputation is the maximum that you can get. Oh, there's Jed Ryan's sales. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. We are heading to Ike with Ribsy Kerbin. We are doing a manned mission to Ike with 3 contracts to complete while we are there. We are now in orbit around Kerbin, and we now need to correct the hideous mistake that we made in launching at the complete wrong time. Haven't watched for a long time, sorry. Well, that is quite alright. You are here now. All is forgiven. Yes, we need to... Now, where do we need to be for Duna? We need to be behind it by about 2 o'clock, I think. Is that right? So, if Duna's up there, we need to be about here when we start our transfer burn. I think. I don't remember. Oh dear. Oh, that's not going to help me. Let's speed things up. Can't go more than 50 times. That will take far too long. So we'll go back to the Space Centre for now. And we'll do it from there. Sorry, Ribsy, you've got quite a wait. You're going to be in orbit about 3 months. And then you've got to go to Ike. Not sure of many astronauts that would that opportunity. This is 100,000 times speed. This career so far has been 9 years long, 9 Kerbin years long. Got my laptop fixed, so I may be able to buy this later, so I can try to make stuff as good as yours. Well, I appreciate the compliment. I am by far not the greatest builder in Kerbal Space Program, but I have kind of struck gold with this unmanned craft that I've been using, which has now become a manned craft. Okay, we're in roughly the right position now, so let's go back to the Q7 and we will get ready to burn. Now, we want to be going. We want to be leaving in the direction that Kerbin is travelling, don't we? So if Kerbin's going that way, we want to be leaving Kerbin in that same direction. So we want to be burning somewhere around here. Is that right? Yeah. Roughly where the bullseye is. Do I have Steam? I do indeed have Steam. You're welcome to add me on Steam. My Steam name is, surprise surprise, El Bristow, as is my channel name here on Twitch. Okay, we are burning for an escape. Here we go. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, but never mind. Yes, feel free to add me on Steam. I had someone add me on Steam earlier today. I don't really know who they were. I accepted it and sent them a message to say, yay, I'm here and I got your request. There we go. That's our escape velocity. and they never replied. So there we go. Okay, we are leaving Kerbin. Bye bye, Kerbin. Bye bye. Okay, ready to leave. Whoa! Press the wrong button. Okay, so we've left Kerbin. Our target is, for the moment, our target is Duna. Let's plan our manoeuvre just ahead of where we are currently. Gonna let me? Yeah, you are. Okay. Add manoeuvre. So, we are going to need to burn outwards. And that wasn't bad. We were not far off at all. 28 million. I mean, that's quite a high periapsis. 40 million. Okay, getting worse. $45 million. So it must be somewhere in the middle of those. 31. 30. 27. 27. So, there is our manoeuvre. We don't have target tracking, do we? That's a shame. We should have brought our 2-star Kerbal. However, fortunately, target tracking is not too difficult because your target doesn't really move. So let's get ourselves pointed at that. A 22-second burn. That's pretty good. I'm trying to do YouTube, but all I have is Bandicam free version, so I can record 10 minutes of okay quality. So that's an okay start. That is an okay start, but if you're using Bandicam, you might as well have a look at OBS, Open Broadcasting Software. It is, it's free, and it's quite full featured, and it's what I use for streaming and for YouTube. Yeah, check that one out. OBS, Open Broadcasting Software. Let's speed things up so that we get towards our manoeuvre node. It's 8 days away. Now it's 1 day away. Now it's a lot less away. 3 hours. So 22 seconds is going to be a T minus 11 second burn. As usual with these kind of burns, accuracy is not overly important with timing this side. But it does help us track how close we are to our intended burn. So here we go. We are approaching our node and we are ready to burn in 16, 15, 14. No, it's not right. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. We're burning. Plenty of fuel. Oh, that is a new follower, but it didn't play for some reason. The sound didn't play. And we have missed somehow. We have missed Duna. Why didn't my sound play? Hang on, I'll have to have a look at that in a moment. Let's get out. Ooh, okay, I see. It's a very, very touchy approach. There we go. Doing a periapsis of 27 million meters. Not ideal, but doable. Buffering? Really? That's not my end. I've got 0 dropped frames this end, so I'm afraid that is your end. Let me check what's going on with these sounds now. Yeah, that sound isn't working. Okay, let's set the sound. Oh. Where has the sound gone? That one, isn't it? Could not set custom sound. Why not? Bit strange. Come on. Where's it go? Come on, where are you? Where's the sound gone again? There it is. Open. Test. No. Well, that's a bit of a pain. How annoying. My follower notification sound isn't working. Hopefully that is a problem with Moobot and not something I've done. Oh well, hopefully that will come back at some point. But thank you for the new follow anyway, Jed Ryan. Okay, so we are going to Dunar, preferably with the aim of going to Ike. Ribsy Kerbin coming with us. Still got the Q2 off out there. I really don't know how it ended up right the way out there, but it's on some kind of solar flyby at some point soon. So, well, I say soon. It's got like a couple of Kerbin years to get there. Now, we are going to need to slow things down quite considerably. We need to... What I'd like to do is kind of bullet graze Duna. I'm going to try and do it the other side of the changing sphere of influence. Yes, I figured that you had followed me before. I get a fair few people kind of re-follow, and it still gives me the follower notification. Okay, we are now heading towards Duna. Where is Duna? Right down there? Really? That's where it is? Okay, we need to do a pretty hefty burn to... Hang on, let's do this right, shall we? What I would like to do is use Duna to slow us down. How high is the atmosphere on Duna? 50,000. So if I just skim the atmosphere at like 45, it's quite a thick atmosphere, isn't it? Oh no, 0.2. Okay. So, see, I don't want to accidentally land on Duna. 46. 25 is too much. 35. Tiny bit more. 36. Really that deep just for an air brake? 13,000? Really? I'll bring it in a bit closer then. I don't mind using the engines a little bit. I don't need to do a complete air brake. We'll do it at about 20. Turn that off. Let's get us to our target. 14-second burn. In stock KSP. Well, this is stock KSP. 14 seconds. I realise there is almost no atmosphere on Duna. Let's get the bulk of this burn done, and then we'll sort that out as we go. See, I'm coming in at an odd angle, so. Seconds. That'll be T-7. Again, accuracy not going to be a major problem. Whoa, okay. And we're going to totally overshoot it. Why is that happening? Hang on. We're being pushed off to one side. Why is that happening? Hang on, where's our... We've got that there, which is off balance, but that's it. Really, is that enough to throw our weight off? Weird. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this! Do we air brake? Yeah, we need to air brake, but that would put us right smack bang where we want to be. We need to air brake because we haven't got the fuel to brake ordinarily. Oops. He says burning miles past. Let's use RCS for this bit then.